Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Okay, so welcome to our forum. So it's a smart industry forum from data science to cyber defense and telecom. By the way, my name is Azura binti Ahmad. I'm the Assistant Vice President TalentCorp Northern Region. So TalentCorp, we have our HQ in Sudan Tower in Darussalam. We also have regional office in Pinang and another regional office in Johor. And I am under the industry partnership division. So my engagement is mostly with industries in the 4 states in northern region. So I think without further ado, I would like to call upon our first speaker, Dr. Imran, who is joining us online. Dr. Imran, can you hear me?
Yes, Mrs. Azura, can you hear me?
Yeah, you can hear me. Maybe for our audience, can you just introduce yourself a bit because we are short of time right now.
Sure.
So Dr. Imran is the CEO of Datalytica. Yeah.
Okay.
The floor is yours, Dr. Imran.
Thank you, Ms. Azura, and apologies I couldn't able to make it because of some urgent emergency matter. My name is Imran, and I have more than 20 years of experience in transformation, industry transformation in the region. From the beginning of my career, I started work in US-based company in US, San Jose, and then after that, I moved to Malaysia, work in Sweden, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. And currently, I'm the Group Chief Executive Officer of Datalytica. We have Malaysia digital company, and we have presence in Malaysia, Thailand, and UAE. So we are doing end-to-end transformation. In end-to-end transformation, we are looking into upskilling, advisory, consultancy, and also AI solutions in manufacturing, automotive, banking, oil and gas, and collaboration with the university to transform together. So main theme is to look into data monetization and use AI as a catalyst. We are providing end-to-end ecosystem for manufacturing, automotive, and other sectors. And in Thailand, for example, our focus, apart from automotive and manufacturing, is healthcare. They are transforming fast. And we start with the digital transformation or AI transformation journey with the maturity assessment for people transformation, data-driven process, end-to-end technology, and then move to data and AI analytics consultancy, upskilling program, organization transformation, research and development, and application. So in the bird's eye view, we look into people transformation, process transformation, and technology transformation. And today I will be discussing more on data and AI process transformation. So in AI transformation, AI is nothing without data, and data has to be analyzed and monetized first before proceeding with the AI-enabled ecosystem. But that data monetization depends on getting the data which is segregated in different places. In the value chain of manufacturing or any organization, you have a lot of data, which can be in the form of a system, can be in the form of a database, can be in the form of Excel, CSV files, and other PDF or Word documents. So the first step is to get the batch data, transform, clean the data, and then present the data through visualization, which is called data interpretation. So data interpretation means how you can able to present your insights in the form of analytics dashboard for the people to understand better. So if the data is in silos, we don't have a bigger picture and we may miss some trends. To identify those trends, it is better to have a holistic view of the data aggregation together. So the dashboard is basically where we can able to get a bigger picture in terms of data analytics and data monetization. That will help us in terms of decision making. I will discuss further. So this is a sample dashboard that will able to present and different meaning out of it. So you can have a data and you can show the data to give different meanings by using different visualization components. So in the market or in the industry right now, there are two very famous tools that is used for business intelligence or data analytics presentation. One is Power BI, another one is Spotfire. So Power BI is, as per Gartner, a leader because it has an integration feature with Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365, so people love it. So in terms of data transformation, right? Power BI is something that is easy to learn, easy to apply. And what we do is we try our best to represent the data for data-driven decisions. So the leaders of today requires to be data-driven because this is the fourth industrial revolution that depends on the data, and data is the input for the AI. So AI is nothing without data. So leaders, challenger, visionaries, and niche players, they have to use the monetization of the data. So, for example, in this example, this is a factory example where we are looking into quality inspection and defect overview, and there is no clarity before what type of defects are and what type of machine having a problems, what are the effect of OEE, and also what are the distribution in terms of line on production line, and how much total inspection has been done and what was the total rejection, for example. With this kind of information, we not only get the overall picture in a clarity, but we also identify some of the hidden problems that we can able that require our attention to solve it. So this is for the descriptive analytics, which is the data of the past. So you have a historical data and you want to know what happened last week, last month, last 6 months, last 1 year. So it will describe the what happened in the past. So it is data-driven insight, okay, which is hindsight. So previously we were saying that pictures are worth of 1,000 words. Now we say that data speak louder than words. So this is the data which is speaking through visualization dashboard, and it speaks louder because it is telling the truth. And this truth will able to give us a insight what are the areas we need to improve. Okay. So next step after descriptive analytics is a diagnostic analytics. So diagnostic analytics is insight. Descriptive is called hindsight, HINDSIGHT. Diagnostic analytics is called um, insights. And you may have many trend identification in the descriptive analytics. You take one trend to understand why it happens. So descriptive analytics will tell you a lot of what happened in the past. You take what and go deeper inside why it happened in the past, and that why happened in the past is diagnostic analytics, where we do the root cause analysis, unveiling the hidden issues, for example. So this example over here is basically using a decomposition tree provided by Power BI or Spotfire. So we have a main cause, for example, and we wanted to identify the root cause. When we click on this level, then it will able to open many levels. And then when we click on this branch, then it will open sub branches until you will get the main issue, the root cause. So it can be 5 why method or Ishikawa fishbone diagram or Pareto chart as well. Okay. So in this regard, this is the real example of the dashboard where we do the diagnostic analytics about the problem. So we can able to know the root cause and we solve it. And then after we do the diagnostic analytics, which is inside, we go for foresight, FORESIGHT, which is predictive analytics. So in predictive analytics is AI enabled. So descriptive and diagnostic analytics is HI, human intelligence based, where predictive and prescriptive analytics is AI based. So we use machine learning and deep learning, for example, to enhance our decision making, what can happen in the future. Normally, Power BI and Spotfire does not have by default this feature, but they have a component where you can able to write the code in Python to do forecasting and embed that Python code inside the Power BI or Spotfire. Because advanced analytics, which is the predictive and prescriptive analytics, require AI-enabled feature which needs to be programmed using Python. So we can embed the Python or R language code inside the inside the Power BI or Spotfire to do the forecasting what can happen in the future. So what are the steps? So in the industry, based on our humble experience in these sectors, which has been mentioned, there is a lot of data, and Industry 3.0 was IT was responsible for transformation in the form of descriptive and diagnostic and predictive analytics. But this notion has been changed because before COVID, IT hired data scientists, for example, and data scientists will able to learn about a specific department data and then try to monetize it. But the monetization was not up to the par because that data scientist is technical person, not the subject matter expert for procurement, inventory, production planning, quality control, safety, process, IT, OT, finance, and HR. So what is a notion that we are doing in Malaysia, Philippines, in Thailand, in UAE is to upskill the subject matter expert from these departments, and then those subject matter expert having a 5 to 10 years or even more experience, we upskill them into Power BI for descriptive diagnostic analytics, Python programming, and after Python programming is basically AI, machine learning, and deep learning. We have collaborated with NCER basically by using their special initiative called ATMP program, which I think in Tuan Amir will be explaining later, is by conducting the program for, let's say, for solar, where we were having a cohort of 20 people from different departments, and then we upskill them, and they are now working as a data scientist and monetizing it using Capstone project. So in a vertical for the technology, you have IoT or cyber physical system. Then you have a hybrid cloud or server. That hybrid cloud have a data. That data has to be analyzed to have analytics. And then from that analytics, it is going towards AI for predictive and prescriptive analytics. And cybersecurity is handling all of the verticals over here. So for the data scientists, it is more from data governance, analytics, and AI. These three layers is basically responsible for data monetization and AI monetization. So when we are deploying a project for MNC, GLC, or SME Dalam Malaysia or outside, we don't start from CPS. We start small. We have a data and we try to monetize it because not much investment in the form of infrastructure is required. You just need a laptop and a batch data. So we start small by doing MVP, which is minimum viable project. And then after that, we scale. If the MVP having a good ROI, then we will scale it. Okay. So scaling will require more investment and more people. MVP can have less people, but after MVP is successful with the show of RODI, which is return of digital investment, then you can have an agile incremental approach to scale to the factory level for each department. That requires phases like AI design thinking, lean process, agile, DevSecOps transformation, Six Sigma compliant, and ESG, which is applied for all of the verticals. And we are doing that. So in terms of that data in AI process transformation, we always select the department first. We don't ask the factory to transform all of the department at the same time, which is quite risky and require a lot of investment, which currently we have to take care. So we select the department or departments. We do the design thinking process using Stanford method of 5 process step, which is number one is empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and experiment. And then we do the data ingestion. So some of the clients of ours from the industry use our platform, which is called Lytics, to do the data ingestion from different sources, which can be from cloud servers, databases, or Excel file or CSV file. And then we do the transformation. And then from those transformation, we do the descriptive, diagnostic, predictive analytics to show the ROI across these value chain to validate AI use cases, to enhance decision making, strong competitive advantage, innovation culture, and also improve cross-department collaboration. So this is the roadmap that we do usually in the organization. We identify the problem and do the data understanding. And then there are some activities which is design thinking, pain points, and define data source. We do the data ingestion in the form of automation, process the data, and then after that we do the descriptive diagnostic analytics, which is require human intelligence, then do for AI-enabled predictive analytics, and then we will do the performance evaluation because of the continuous improvement cycle. So when we talk about data monetization, there are three types of dashboard for three different levels in anywhere. So our enterprise clients, for example, will share with us that we need a top level strategic dashboard, which is a summary of everything. And then we have a middle management KPI dashboards, and then we have operation level dashboards. So in an organization, there are three different type of dashboard with three different purpose. Those purpose define about the data monetization in terms of KPIs and also into alignment. So the three most commonly analytics that needs to be leveraged are descriptive analytics, which I defined before. It will improve our decision making, increase operational efficiency, spot areas for improvement. Then diagnostic analytics for the root cause, uncovering the hidden pattern, and predictive analytics for forecasting. And this will be the aspect of top level, middle level, and operational level dashboard. So this is an example of a factory dashboard. Okay. So when we are looking into those steps for each use case, right? Design thinking process can able to help us defining the goal, pain points, and success criteria. We envision that before even do the implementation. And then the data we are collecting can be from IoT, Excel, ERP, API, sensors, and database, or even cloud. So it is difficult process because we are getting the data from different sources that require different requirements and different integration mechanism that have a different SLAs. But once we get the data right, we need to have a proper governance ecosystem to have a secure access, lineage tracking, and compliance ready architecture. Unfortunately, 90% of the SMEs that we found in Penang does not have a data governance ecosystem. In some cases, they don't even have a proper IT team. So they have two options. One option is to recruit the people and transform themselves. Or second option is to engage with the subject matter expert or system integrator and then allow them to do the ingestion. And this is not a story of SME. I have come across a situation that some of the MNCs also are engaging the vendors for the data collection. I will not mention their name. And then data transformation after the governance is to clean the data, merge the databases, and using different workflows and custom pipelines. And after that, we are doing the descriptive analytics, which we co-develop or develop with the collaboration with the clients in terms of their KPIs. Sometimes the KPIs are old and they are not having the new KPIs, which is being used by the competitors. So we advise them on that. And then after the descriptive analytics, which have a visualization of historical data through dashboard to uncover trend and performance, we also identify those trends and find the negative trends and wanted to go inside using diagnostic analytics to understand the correlation and also understand the problem so we can able to solve. And then we use artificial intelligence machine learning to do the demand forecasting or optimization of process or simulation of the data. So these insight, and foresight are basically the ROI. Okay, so we don't prefer advise our clients to have a heavy investment because many of the companies think that they require millions of ringgit to do the monetization. Actually, it is fraction of the money, which we guide them also in that one. So this is the technical architecture. in terms of the data ops. So data ops is where we are getting the data either in the form of batch or stream data. We process the data and serve the data to the reporting tools like Power BI, Spotfire, Tableau, or others. So in here, the data can be structured, semi-structured, unstructured. There are three types of data that we normally getting from the industry. Structured data are basically the machine data or relational data, user data, employee data, for example, device data. Semi-structured data are like in the form of a JSON, an Excel file, or XML. And the unstructured data are the document or images and video. For example, in the factory, if they have a defect detection through AI camera, so it is in the form of a picture, so that is unstructured data. For example, if there are Excel file in different department and they wanted to extract the data to present into the dashboard, that is the semi-structured data. For example, if there is a machine data coming from the production line to the server, that is a structured data. All those structured data or batch data, we are feeding to the ETL pipeline to do the data transformation before we go to the data warehouse, which is a clean. Data lake is a dirty data, raw data. Data warehouse is basically defined data. So they can be a batch data, which is chunk by chunk, or they can be a stream data. Okay, I will go a bit faster. And after the data transformation happened, then we have machine learning operations for the data analytics. So we have feature processing. For those feature processing, we able to identify what are the labels data is required, because there can be hundreds of parameters, but we don't need to give the 100 parameter to artificial intelligence based on the different case study and requirement. And then we select the features and then give it to the model to do the training. And then from those training, we are serving the model and then deploying the model and do the monitoring of the models, basically. So those models are continuous. This is a continuous improvement cycle. We are getting a new data, after the new data, we are selecting the features, and then we are training the model, testing the model, and then we are deploying the model. And then basically we are monitoring performance and accuracy of the AI model. So it's not like if you develop an AI solution, that's it, you will sleep after that. No. Once you develop, you still require continuous maintenance by the people who develop it. Okay. I'll just skip that. So in terms of the return on digital investment, right? This is a particular skill step we are using in terms of transformation. So this is a return of the digital investment, not only in terms of technology, but also in the skills that will pave the way for the people transformation. So we always start with learning about the data first of the different problem, and we map them. So there are some tools and fundamental libraries, and most important one is to use Python programming. Um, Previously, the programming was only for IT and computer science people, but Python break that barrier, and then there is a need right now in terms of everyone to learn Python. So programming for all fundamentals. So if 20 years back, it was necessary for everyone to learn about Word, Excel, now ChatGPT and Python, for example, if they wanted to work on AI. So this is for Python, and then some libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib for visualization, data cleaning. We can use SQL to present the data in the dashboard using Power BI. So this is for descriptive analytics. You can use this in your laptop, but if you wanted to have a big data, definitely you may require cloud, which can be AWS or Microsoft Azure. For prediction and forecasting, you need scikit-learn libraries and then deep learning. So supervised machine learning, which is linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, and random trees using Python programming language. So you don't need to learn about mathematics because AI underneath it mathematics. You just need to know which formulas or which algorithm or model you wanted to use. For supervised, unsupervised, dimension reduction. And then for deep learning, we are using PyTorch library with a Hugging Face and Kaggle data, for example, if you don't have a data. This is for prediction, but for model deployment and monitoring, we have other tools. So this is the pathways. Basically, we have to learn about the Python programming and also to learn about the data science in this regard. Let's look into some case studies. So case studies is basically on how we get the ROI and how much is it. So again, descriptive analytics, the historical data is called hindsights that will tell about what happened in the past. Diagnostic analytics is called insight, which is why it happens in the past. Predictive analytics, which is called foresight, what can happen in the future. And then you can predict multiple things, but which is the right decision and selection is called prescriptive analytics, which is called right sight. So when we are applying those analytics, definitely in different case studies that we have implemented, there is a particular RODI. For example, in case of the most common one is, for example, in semiconductor process facing a yield loss, inefficiency, and lack data-driven decision making. This is the problem of one of the semiconductor factory in Penang, for example. So by applying these analytics with our platform or any platform, they have enhanced the yield process efficiency through AI-driven analytics in the manufacturing, which have a 19% increase in production yield. So this 19% increase in the production yield is a RODI. Another example that I wanted to give is another factory which is having an unplanned downtime and inefficiencies. So by applying those dashboard analytics, we're able to enhance the prediction to increase OEE by 18.7%, which is a good. So there are other analytics based improvement that can be made in the factory by applying and implementing analytics to increase the productivity, decrease in the water consumption if there are some ESG compliance, and also decrease in product defect rate and so on. So one of the factories in Penang, for example, that we worked with, they were having a wafer probing inefficiency due to unclear test data trends. And also there was inconsistent failure diagnostic and limited visibility in machines state over time. Okay. So with that kind of a problem, using an advanced analytic with a real-time visibility, which is descriptive, and root cause diagnostic and trend analysis, which is predictive, they have basically increased, they improve the product yield, and also reduce the downtime and faster diagnostic. So this is basically the problem and the transformation and the impact. Okay, so this is the factory which is in Bianlepas that we have worked in this regard. Another factory was on the disconnected system. They did have a limited real-time insight. So the solution was to unify the analytics for the visibility and failure diagnostic and also predict quality insight that will able to increase the ROI by 30 to 50% by reducing the defects, optimize inventory, and minimize downtime. Another important analytics visibility for the root cause of the same problem. I have basically removed the hide logo for privacy concern. Is this that they were having a scattered test data and lack of root cause analysis limit wafer quality insight. And also they were having a problem of decision making and real-time OE tracking. By implementing analytics-based solutions, they basically implemented the RODI by reducing the protocol faster response and environmental compliance. So there are many case studies that shows about the problem, that how we can able to solve the problem by implementing data analytics, data science ecosystem. So data analysis or data analysts will be responsible for descriptive and diagnostic analytics, whereas data scientist is for descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. So these are some of the problem statement that was being solved by descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics with the proven dashboard and the ROI. Okay. So with that said, this is my end of the presentation as per given time. Sorry for taking 2 minutes more. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to assist and answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Imran, for the presentation. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to ask any question to Dr. Imran? Yes.
Shankar here from USI. Earlier you mentioned that you start with a pilot project within each organization, right? So you select a particular department and then you try to actually work on it. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear properly. Can you please repeat again?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you repeat?
Yeah. Is it better now?
Yes, it's better. Can you repeat?
Yeah, okay, fine. So first of all, good morning. This is Shankar from USI.
Hi,
Earlier you were mentioning that when you go to the organizations, you tend to actually go not the entire departments, but select a particular department and try to address the problem or what they want to actually address one by one, right? But some of the things that you see in organization A might also be necessary or might be similar to what you see in organization B. So how much of the things that you do or that one can do is actually applicable directly across different organizations, or do we require the models to be trained per organization, per department? How does it? Maybe you can elaborate a bit on that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for asking this question, Doctor. I really appreciate your kindness in terms of asking this question. So there are many of the departments. So when I mention about one use case of one department, normally we propose to them, but it's up to them whether they select one department or multiple departments. Sometimes they select 3 departments or 4 departments, each with 1 or 2 use cases. Mostly, for example, production line, there are many common use cases. The only thing is the type of product they are designing it. And for HR, we have found HR, production planning, even inventory management, 70% or 60%, the problem is same. So, but definitely there can be different data that has been implemented. But the real thing is about on the bigger picture, although the factories may be manufacturing different type of products, but the end goal may be different. So we cannot replicate the same thing on the shelf time because the data itself, they are maybe using different type of machines doing the same thing, which is manufacturing, but different type of machine may introduce different type of parameters that require different type of KPIs. So the difference can be machine types, parameters. The difference can be organization level KPIs. Of course, there are some common KPIs, but they may be as specific KPIs. So I basically usually categorize the AI use case into 4. One is a conventional, selective, disruptive, and niche. So if it is basically niche, definitely that is something unique, which we haven't seen across another organization because maybe it is too specific to certain factories. Disruptive means that there is a lot of investment required because the amount of investment to have a bigger use case is more because disruptive use case can have an effect in other use cases. Selective is basically partially 60 to 70%. It's basically same or 50%, but conventional is common across the board. For example, predictive maintenance is common across the board. Only the machine type of data is different. Production planning is same. Financial forecasting is basically also conventional that we can able to look into that. Okay, I hope I answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Imran.
Thank you very much.
I think since there is no other question, thank you so much for the presentation on the topic of monetization just now. So let's move on to our next speaker, Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Shankar.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Maybe I will focus with the Amir also before Dr. Imran come.
Yeah. No. He's here. Wait.
Let's go already.
Go on.
Is the introduction.
Right. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, welcome. So, my name is Dr. Shankar Karuppayah. So, you can just call me Shankar. The topic that I'm going to share with you guys today is more on the cybersecurity perspective. So, the title is Securing the Future Cybersecurity in AI and Industrial Systems. So, without further ado, let me just introduce myself. So I'm the Deputy Director of the Cybersecurity Research Center of University Sains in Malaysia. So we're based in the main campus. And my research domain is in the domain of cybersecurity, malware, Industry 4.0, and so on. Anything that falls in the domain of cybersecurity is what I'm focusing on. So a bit of background of myself. So I'm from USM traditionally. I did my degree here. I did my master's in Thailand, and I did PhD in cybersecurity from TU Darmstadt in Germany. But I do wear two hats. So this is my USM hat. I also have a company hat, and I'm also the founder and CEO of Big Rangers in Grand Bahar. So Big Ranger is a University Science Malaysia spin-off company. So the main intention of us to actually establish this company is to try to find a vehicle for us to actually commercialize the R&D that we're doing in our university, but focusing on my department. So everything cybersecurity, we commercialize it through this company. And the things that we actually focus, so we focus on offering security operations center as a service, vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, forensics, threat intelligence, IT/OT security, and more. Our main goal is to actually help the Malaysian SMEs, but at the same time, we're also engaging with the state and also federal governments whenever needed, wherever possible. So we're not limited to SMEs, but our main focus or where we established was actually to help out the SMEs. Right. So coming back to the topic of the day. So I think Dr. Imran earlier have explained how the data has been. So a lot of things are happening nowadays in the industry where we are actually trying to actually apply AI into a lot of aspects. Pretty much everything we do is that AI. These are the questions people are asking. So AI is something, if you ask me honestly, it's a hype word. It has been there. It's just that people find it more accessible right now. ChatGPT and so on. People realize the power of AI nowadays easily. Back then, only selected few. If you have those kind of resources, you can actually access. But now, because it's becoming more easily accessible, we started seeing industrial systems, for example, manufacturing, utilities, or logistics industries. They are modernizing to AI and connected technologies. So we smack AI onto it. We have internet access. We have some visualization dashboard. Now we have some fancy visibility of what's happening in the network. You can calculate your yield. So you can actually do a lot of digitalization by applying AI. And that's something that a lot of SMEs can actually benefit from. However, the OT environment, so we have IT, which is the information technology sector, and the OT, which is operational technology. When we talk about industrial systems, we are talking a lot on the OT perspective. OT is traditionally fragile and hard to secure. Why hard to secure? Because it was never intended to be opened up, right? But at the same time, AI systems, so number one, OT systems are traditionally fragile, but we are trying to actually extract data out of them. We're trying to apply AI, making it more accessible. So you're exposing it. That's number one. Number two, AI system itself have their own threat vectors, so attack vectors, meaning we're not talking about using AI to conduct attacks, but AI itself can be attacked. So this is the two things that we're going to talk today. Right, so let's look a bit. So my discussions are not going to be technical. it's going to be very santai-santai, explaining about the conditions that we have, the issues that we have right now. But feel free to interject. You don't have to wait until the end of the session. So if you're looking at the cybersecurity challenges in industrial systems, especially when we talk about the technology and the vulnerability, many factories, companies, factories, and also utility providers still run systems that are like 20, 30 years old, right? So we have companies that are running on PLCs. So any is PLC, this is SCADA systems. They are still operational today. Question is, why are they not changing? The answer is why they should change. It's still working. Changing means cost. Because more mampu nak actually change it. And in some cases, you cannot change. I can give you examples of our engagement with industries. When you go into the industry, you see that they're using very old legacy machines, legacy equipments, which are very vulnerable from a cybersecurity perspective. But when we advise to them, they say, I have invested about 2 million 10 years ago. It is not just about the matter of spending another 2 million now. It says that the person who actually did it 2 years ago, 10 years ago, doesn't exist. The vendor doesn't exist. Takkan I nak buang everything pun. If I get a new vendor, they get to buang everything and then do again. And it's not 2 million now, it's more expensive. Boleh? So that's the issue that the SMEs, or rather people nowadays, MNCs probably not so much, but SMEs, yes, very, very vulnerable to this issue. Now these traditional systems, or we call it legacy systems, they lack authentication encryptions and were never designed for internet exposure. Imagine we have in this room, no one have access into this, these machines are running, we know, okay, selamat. That's how we send our kids to play to nursery as well. We know that environment is actually kid-proof. Takkanlah terhantuk and then bleeding. We know that won't happen. Similar to that is what or how OT and infrastructure were intended back then. However, nowadays, when you want to actually apply AI, you have to tap into data. Tapping into data requires you to modernize your system. Meaning, at least just tutup pintu. Now you need to have people coming in to actually access the data and so on. But in that process, for the upgrades, they are rather superficial. Sebab you just nak menjadikannya boleh. For example, kita ambil an industry which do not have industry 4.0 capabilities. A lot of our local industries also in Penang would like to embrace the industry 4.0 benefits, revolution, and so on. Tapi all their systems are still operational, manual. How can I actually get the access into data? So kita kena apply some kind of retrofit technologies that can actually pull the data out. In that process, when you don't have anything, what is the first thing you want to do? I want that feature. I want modernization. I want industry 4.0 capabilities. Itu je kita bikin. So a lot of vendors that are providing service will just provide that part. And cybersecurity has been, not only for this, for everything, has been an afterthought. Tak ada siapa-siapa yang fikir from the beginning, kalau nak buat produk ni, apa aspek cybersecurity dia. No one actually focus on that first. Sampailah perlu baru fikir lagi. Then tengok dalam teknologi ni tak boleh masuk ni. Now you kena beli lagi sikit. But then do it lah. But from an end user perspective, if we actually try to modernize without thinking it, we will be very vulnerable. Tapi this is the recent case. But what we need to understand is, kalau kita tak modernize, macam saya kata, kita tutup the whole room, we don't give access to people, even the traditional setup is still vulnerable today. So I'm going to give an example of a real world story. Pernah tak siapa-siapa dengar tentang the Stuxnet attack? Ataupun the keyword Stuxnet? Right? Okay. So this is not cerita dongeng, this is a real story. So in Iran, sekarang kan cerita Iran perang and so on. So Iran has been, katakan US dah embargo. Dia kata none of the US products boleh diekspor kepada Iran since back then. Sebab Iran has a nuclear power punya capabilities. Dia ada dia own R&D, dia memang sedang buatlah nuclear power dia. Whether for weaponizing ke apa ke, that's secondary, tapi dia ada the capacity. So dia ada nuclear enrichment power plants yang dia guna untuk enrich the uranium, right? So the issue with an attack, it's a cyber attack that happened sudah 20 tahun dulu lah, 2010 cerita ni. Yang penting yang kita kena take notice, this entire ini gambar sahaja lah, tak kena guna dengan dia, but this is how it would look like. The nuclear enrichment power plant was deployed in an air gap network. Bila kita kata air gap network, maksudnya dalam bangunan ataupun dalam facility dia, the machines are connected, but they do not have access to internet at all. It is designed to be such. Sebab OT kan, zaman dulu-dulu, they don't allow internet access sebab semua yang nak guna pun memang ada dalam pun, right? And they were operating with SCADA system. Pernah tak SCADA system? PLC SCADA system semua tu. It is used for industrial control systems lah, SCADA systems. What's interesting is a malware. Dia malware ni dari kategori yang bringing domain daripada cybersecurity lah. So a malware that is called a worm. A worm ni kalau dia dah infect PC, dia boleh infect other PCs by itself through whatever network it is connected to. Itu definasi worm lah. So Stuxnet ni kategori worm. So Stuxnet ni dia akan infect satu pendrive dalam pendrive. Dia start daripada satu pendrive. Moment kita cucuk dalam laptop kita, dia akan infect PC kita. From that point onwards, siapa yang cucuk pendrive kosong ke apa ke dalam my PC will be infected. This pendrive, bila cucuk dalam another PC sama lah, PC tu akan infect. Right? So it is more like virus COVID dah lebih kurang. Macam tu, tapi dia propagate. Tapi virus ni betul-betul special. Bukan virus lah, Stuxnet ni betul-betul special. Dia ni very stealthy. Dia tak bagi tahu pun dia tak destroy the PC ke apa pun. Dia sedang cari komputer mana yang ada specific information. Yang specific tu dia sedang mencari. Listen. It is looking for Windows punya machine yang running with local. Maksudnya language dia starts dengan I. Iran, Iraq, India, Indonesia, semua ni lah. Dia cari dia macam tu. Kalau tak ada I, dia ignore. Kalau ada I, dia infect. Iraq. Lepas tu dia akan cuba cari sama ada that PC has something called S7 PLC system by Siemens, specific software that is installed to control ICS PLCs by Siemens. Siemens punya own product lah. Dia cari. Kalau ada, baru dia dah confirm, yes, I dah masuk kepada where I want to. Right? Yes. Yes. Sebab dia tak tahu siapa yang infect. Remember, from the first example I bagi tahu tadi tu, tak ada internet access. How can you access it? Tapi ini, I'm just characterizing how the malware punya ciri-ciri. Dulu sebelum saya beritahu cerita macam mana. So dia akan cari, kalau dah ada, then dia akan upload. Now, the pen drive, okay lah, kita cerita dulu baru I betul. So what happened is, nuclear power plant ni kan tak ada internet. One day, tiba-tiba, one very old engineer, dia perasan the manual gauge of the temperature, dia kena control dia punya temperature for certain suhu. Tapi temperature tu dah mula naik, manual gauge. Tapi sistem dia tak bagi tahu any alert at all. Out of curiosity, dia tekan the stop button lah. Stop whole operation of the nuclear enrichment power plant just to inspect. Bila dia inspect, baru dia perasan a lot of the centrifuges yang dia guna untuk enrich uranium itu dah rosak. And that one incident, kalau the engineer tu tak rasa curious, tak manually stop, would have caused a nuclear meltdown. Secara kebetulan dia perasan, secara kebetulan dia stop, secara kebetulan benda ni tak. Tapi that one incident telah menyebabkan Iran dah ada setback dengan nuclear plant 2 tahun sebab satu insiden. Tapi the question is, kenapa tak ada things in place that alert them, benda ni dah panas, tak berfungsi and so on. It is all because of this malware. So this malware dah dapat masuk dalam the power plant, dia disable all the digital punya modules yang ada without alerting the people, but at the same time dah control the centrifuge to slow down so that the temperature akan naik. Kalau centrifuge dia lagi laju, dia akan kurangkan dia punya temperature. Bila dia slow down, terlampau panas, dia akan jadi nuclear meltdown. Itulah tujuan utama Stuxnet dikeluarkan, targeting explicitly Iran punya power. Right? Very advanced, cara dia impact semua betul-betul nak kata unik. Benda tu tak pernah orang tahu sebelum tu. Sebelum ni isu ni kita pun tak tahu benda ni wujud. Right? So 2010. No, Chernobyl tu memang accident. Ini dia cuba jadikan accident, tapi ternampak. But the thing is, if benda ni dia tak perasan, dia dah meltdown, you wouldn't have any proof to actually figure out what happened. Ni memang bad timing lah for people who actually created it. But the thing is, kalau benda tu dah air gap, macam mana malware tu masuk? Since the propagation is in USB disk, since it's looking for Siemens software, the perpetrator, dia bagi free pendrive dalam conference untuk Siemens engineer di luar. So free lah. Kita pergi conference, kita dapat swag item, semua free. Dan secara kebetulan tu, ini siang all this aja kebetulan. Bukan kita tahu someone is going to get in, someone is going to press it. Semua try. Sebab tu, pendrive tu, dia cucuk seluruh dunia. Sampai and from there dia propagate sampai ada satu cara dia masuk balik dalam the power plant. Bila dia dapat that information, dia propagate, find out what are the machines, how they connected, jump back into a pendrive. Bila that pendrive cucuk dekat komputer yang ada internet, dia inform semua information. Lepas tu, the same way dia turun balik information untuk buat that. Yang berlaku lah masa tu. So this is the intention of it. So I dah summarize kat sini. So my key point here is, walaupun kita ada a traditional method yang kita assume semua dah betul, we always have people who want to actually exploit it dari konteks cybersecurity. Ini yang traditional punya lah. Now we are having newer tech, which is we want to actually have AI lah. All these things we have. So remember, industrial systems are often high value. Company biasa pun, it is high value. Imagine kalau your production line jatuh ataupun gets disabled. A lot of loss, which translates to a lot of value. But they are often lowly defended. Sebab bila yang kita ada ICS ni, this is something we don't visually see. Right? But this is what's nowadays becoming ideal for attackers. Any questions so far? Yeah? Okay. So, when we talk about, okay, sekarang tadi ada kita tentang the OT perspective or the physical infrastructure part of it, the industrial systems. Now we're going to talk about the AI system punya vulnerability, tapi dalam konteks industrial. Dr. Imran tadi ada explain how AI is now being used for predictive maintenance lah, decision making. Normally detection pun lebih kurang macam predictive maintenance juga. So predictive maintenance sebelum predictive lah. Sebelum ni kalau kita dapat maintenance, kita akan ada setiap 3 bulan kita tukar komponen in our car and so on. But sometimes, I mean, if you take the car example, dia akan beritahu kan setiap 30,000 setiap 10,000 kena buat servis. Itu yang dia akan beritahu. Setiap 10,000 ataupun 3 bulan ataupun 6 bulan. This is how they gauge the maintenance period. But the maintenance is really depending on the parts that you are changing. Sometimes memang hard luck, dia boleh rosak awal. Okay? So from an industry perspective, what they used to do is also similar. So dia tunggu sampai dia rosak ataupun dia tunggu macam 3 bulan tukar. This is what they use. But predictive maintenance goes one level higher, guna AI. Dia cuba tap information yang betul-betul penting. For example, katakan mesin tu ada vibration. Kita letak vibration sensor, kita sense the vibration sensor. Kalau yang ini normal, tiba-tiba dia dah vibrate lagi kuat. Dia belum rosak, tapi nak rosak. That would trigger an anomaly that would correspond to a predictive maintenance. So kita boleh repair benda tu in a more scheduled way instead of tiba-tiba semua pecah dan kita kena buat shutdown 1 minggu ke 2 hari sebelum nak eksperimen. So this is how AI is being used lah. Tapi AI is actually a model, right? So it really depends on what kind of data yang kita dapat dalam tu for it to actually sense. Macam kita kata yang vibration tu. Kalau vibration tu memang as is, okay lah. Tapi kalau we have another way to give them an input, tak adalah vibrate sangat. So then the model will just assume ini normal lah, tak ada lah dulu. So sampai mesin tu pecah. So that's possible. So adversarial input will fool the models. Meaning data yang kita salurkan kepada AI model yang kita dah bina, yang Dr. Imran tadi terapkan, kita bina model and so on, all depends on the data. Tapi data tu kalau kita tak control sendiri, kalau kita ada cara orang lain yang tolong masukkan ataupun saluran daripada the input kepada the model is not secure, you will have the ability to manipulate the system. You can do data poisoning. So data poisoning is during training. So dalam AI kita nak train dulu. That's what Dr. Imran tadi mention. Kita nak train, nak tahu what is the baseline. Apakah normal, apakah tidak normal, for example. Right? Kalau katakan saya satu vendor, saya nak jual benda, and kalau saya tak manipulate during the training model, the model will always say that, oh, benda ni tak bagus, dia output tak bagus. Maksudnya my failure rate terlampau tinggi. So I will actually poison the data from the beginning so that the model will actually assume, ini normal lah ni. Walaupun failure rate saya tinggi, they can assume saya ni normal. I mean, the behavior is normal. So that when you apply it during your testing phase, you won't see it as a bad thing. So I will have the motivation to actually try to poison the data efficiently. And even worse, movie model that can be. Sometimes the model yang kita buat is actually our IP. That means we train a lot of knowledge and then I come up with the product. But that product itself, if someone can have a physical access to it, he can actually try to feed the data and see how I react. Based on that, I can actually reverse engineer and understand how this product actually works. Or I can actually, we call it probing. I can do a probing to actually understand. Sekiranya data macam ni boleh tak dia give a wrong output ke apa, and then I can actually manipulate that to actually cause more harm. Tapi yang paling penting is the model gap, di mana whatever knowledge yang kita ada tu dia boleh copy and then dia boleh prepare a competitive product daripada competitor perspektif yang boleh menyebabkan our advantage tu no longer an advantage lah. Unlike normal computer systems yang kita ada, in industrial environments, kalau kita ada AI punya failures, it will have real world impact, especially for companies lah. So that is why we have to actually focus in defending not only the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure that I mentioned earlier, but also the AI part of it. So apa yang pergi dari sini ke sini semua kita kena protect, defend lah, in other words. Jadi, where are the weak points, right? So kita dah ada AI system. AI system ni kita boleh anggap macam human grade, right? Dalam body kita. The sensors, basically that's where we get the data from. But we can translate into the devices in the industry. You can see cameras, IoT, temperature gauge, and so on. They are like the eyes and skins. This sense apa yang bergerak di atas. Ini yang saya nampak, ini yang saya rasa. Okay? So that's the sensors. The AI system is basically the brain yang interpret. Benda tak jatuh, oh bahaya. So that's how I interpret, right? So that's what's interpreting the signals and decides what to do. Benda jatuh, I takut, I inject ke tepi, right? So that's the AI brain part of it. The machines, that's the actuator that we have. Arms, valves, and motors are the muscles that act on the decisions. This is pretty much the key points and also the big points of AI. Now imagine if someone would actually feed signals into the sensor. Katakan instead of me visually seeing it, now you put me a VR glass. This is actually happening, kan? Anyone have tried VR, virtual reality classes? So ada game yang macam roller coaster lah, and all. You actually feel betul-betul macam roller coaster. Sebab the vision is actually feeding your eyes and manipulating you to think that you nak jatuh, right?
Yes. Other which effects like wind.
Correct. So all these things are manipulation. But you can manipulate the same thing here. If you can manipulate the signals that goes into the sensors, wherever you're getting the data from, that can actually make the brain to make the wrong call. Similar to the subsnapping example. Here, that disable that part. That means instead of the real data being fed in, the malware was feeding the wrong data in whatever was supposed to be the rule-based analysis yang kata temperature ni masih bawah threshold. Tak payah nak raise alarm. So that is what happened here. Or someone can reprogram the brain to misbehave without being noticed. They need more of a sabotage in your perspective. So they can actually do that. Or worse, they can remotely hijack the commands going from the brain to the muscle. Meaning, I would actually say, don't do this. Instead of the message going delivered to the muscles from the actuators, I could stop, or I can actually inject a different one. So it's more like a man in a middle. So all these are not science fiction. Bukan hypothetical scenarios. These are already happening. So we have adversarial images doing AI to misidentifying safety issues. Kalau kita tak nak tengok that depth, even the phone yang kita ada sekarang, you might have seen some clips circulating where kita kan ada yang facial recognition for app, for phone to access and so on. There have been research that have shown kita print foto orang letak depan pun sometimes boleh dia access. It's not accurate, right? It is where that you can actually fool the AI to believe that if that meaning or the market rules, right? So all those things can happen. Hackers have been found to gain access to industrial AI systems and overriding instructions. Success would be a good example. And faulty training data causing long-term behavioral issues. Faulty data paling susah. Sebab you dah train, you dah assume benda ni betul. So you akan tengok, okay, my system kata okay, tapi my customers don't return balik kata faulty. Di mana problem? So that will actually cause you more harm lah in the long run. So moving forward, how do we actually protect the systems? We have to think like there's a burglar, seorang nak rompak masuk dalam rumah, and then how do we build the defense? From the context of home lah. Selalunya, if you have valuable assets at home, you wouldn't just rely on a single lock. Okay, tak adalah kita, okay, saya pintu, saya lock pintu. Kita nak tambah grill, nak pintu tu kita boleh yang security door, kita nak tambah CCTV. Kenapa? Sebab kita tahu banyak benda berharga dalam rumah, right? So similarly, for AI punya perspective, if you compare dalam rumah ni, you will have separate rooms, right? Takkan you nak rumah tu kosong, semua benda letak sana tak. My important things, maybe I'll keep my own bedroom, ataupun I have a special room that I keep all the expensive items and safe. So we need to have segmentation. From a network perspective, we need to have network segmentation yang kata these are all OT punya network devices. This should not be on the same network dengan kita punya Wi-Fi yang guest for example. So network segmentations are critical kat sini. Then we need to install alarm. Dekat rumah kalau orang tak masuk alarm, right? From the perspective on our the system protection, we need to have some kind of monitoring. Kalau dekat rumah kita ada cermin, kalau dia pecah cermin, alarm akan berhenti. Dalam sistem kita macam mana kita? So we need to come up with that kind of mechanism. When I say we, there are vendors who are doing it. We just have to actually engage and see whether these things are in place, right? Monitoring ini dalam banyak bentuk. So I don't want to sell my company, but we are also doing network monitoring to see what's happening from the network level. So kalau ada intruder from the network level, we will be able to actually see it as well. So benda macam ni memang ada dekat market. And of course, you will have to see control who enters. Kat rumah, kita ada kunci. Kunci kita bagi maybe kat kita punya isteri dan suami sahaja, right? Other people don't have the key. So other people have to press the bell, kita tengok, kita bagi. So it's a form of an access control. And then of course, most importantly, awareness. Kita kena bagi tahu dekat family. Kalau orang randomly kata bagi masuk, ayah you suruh masuk, you kena confirm dengan saya dulu. Something, right? We have to actually tell them how to be aware of what's happening. But if we transfer this into the digital world, what it means is that corresponding to the 4 points above, number one, you shouldn't let your system to connect freely to the internet without control. Right? You connect the control, you can monitor. And if you have AI systems that are running, you need to continuously monitor. Are they behaving strangely? Are they giving inconsistent results? So the key point I'm trying to say here is, even though currently in the world, dia kata ambil AI, you solve your problem, you boleh lay off your employees, benda-benda kecil semua kita boleh buat. That is not what you should actually do lah. I mean, yes, to a certain extent you can automate, but you still need someone to actually monitor, double check your results. You cannot just kata AI dah okay lah, kita tutup mata. That should not happen at all. You should also protect the data that trains your AI. This is your training data. Yeah? bad input will lead to dangerous output. So from the very beginning, kita ambil data tu, kita kena pastikan bahawa data tu kita tahu yang kita yang collect. Kalau just nak kita kata, vendor tolong bagi data, because most of the time we outsource the vendor. So we need double check the data juga. Karena some bad data would actually lead to this. Although in AI process, we will do some sort of cleaning of data and so on, but as the data owner, you must know what the data means to begin with. Takut ada orang yang cuba inject and so on. And most importantly, you have to update your software devices. Older systems are easy to break into. I mean, from a cybersecurity perspective, we have a phone, laptop. Let's just ask yourself, every time there's an update, berapa orang kat sini immediately will update? Kalau Windows kata, I have a new update. When would you like me to install? Selalunya kita kata, dululah, saya buat kerja, besoklah, depan lah. We never want to do it immediately. That shouldn't be the case. That should be the first thing we do. Ada, terus pak. Because ada implikasi dia. The reason why the updates are being pushed is because if you don't update it immediately, attackers can attack you. And in most cases, benda yang dia main tak tahu is, katakan saya cybersecurity researcher, saya jumpa satu kelemahan. Saya akan inform dekat, katakan Microsoft, ada satu kelemahan ni. Microsoft akan cakap, bagi saya 2 bulan untuk resolve benda ni. Microsoft akan keluarkan satu update. Itu semua Microsoft. Tapi sejurus 2 bulan tu, I will take this information on how this kelemahan was found and make it open. The tujuan is to ensure all the cybersecurity companies can actually come up with a way to detect if this kelemahan is being exploited. But bad guys are also monitoring. Kelemahan yang saya report tu, terus dia akan buat a way to exploit and start finding. If you did not update by the time that dia dah boleh buat the POC to scan, then you'll be a victim. Sebab tu kita kata, whenever there is a security patch, function patch, feature patch, apa, security patch, immediate. Phone, laptop, cepat-cepat kena buat. Okay, so before this, I was talking very high level, giving example rumah and so on. Of course, we have to map it back to, from an industry perspective, what are the frameworks that we have that we can actually use? Earlier, we mentioned about the OT or the industrial systems, and we have the AI. For the industrial systems, there are quite a number of frameworks out there. So it's not like, oh, macam mana nak buat benda ni? So there are already guidance on how you can do it. IEC 62443 is industrial network security. Not only the tech part of it, it also covers the management perspective on how you should actually manage if you do have an ICS in your network. Zero trust segmentation, you should have. Zero trust is a relatively new concept. Di mana never trust anyone in your network. From a network perspective, never trust anyone. Always double check. Maksudnya minta authentication and so on. So within the network itself, when you set up, it has to be there. You should also have passive asset discovery and protocol alert monitoring. Meaning, akan kita ada 10 orang kat sini, then suddenly ada orang ke 11. I'm talking about computer networks. How do we know ada orang ke 11? If it is not physically there. Kalau katakan your client ataupun your vendor datang, you put the Raspberry Pi, credit card you put, and then it's connected to your Wi-Fi. How do you know that exists? If you do not do a passive asset discovery, you won't know the presence of the intruder atau third party. Sometimes, benda tu supposed to be taken out, tapi tak take out pun, you will be able to discover using asset discovery. And Security Operations Center, or SEAM, is something that a lot of people are actually focusing on, but should be. This is the product that we have. Security Operations Center is, imagine that you have a physical CCTV, you monitor siapa masuk rumah keluar kan. Security Operations Center will actually monitor what traffic comes inside and go outside of your network. Kalau ada any anomalies, they can raise alert and so on lah. Di situlah kita akan tahu which machine is infected, which machine is trying to scan your network. When it comes to AI system, so we have our NIST AI risk management framework. So this is the framework. So you have to measure, manage, map, and govern. Ada 4 aspect in the life cycle. So if you're interested, you can read the document and implement it in your organization. We also have the ISO 32001 for AI management systems, and there are quite a number of techniques that you can actually use for mitigation, like adversarial training, access control for models, and explainable AI ataupun model explainability. And if you are a stakeholder of Sama ada you are a vendor or you're the owner or you're the regulator. If you are an industrial operator, you should actually monitor on your industrial control systems and also PLC activity. You must have patching cycles for OT. Janganlah kata berfungsi tak payahlah patch. So you must check kalau 11 kali kalau ada OT tak ada lah that frequently, tapi bila ada tu kita kena buat. So quarterly patching cycles ke. Must have secure AI ML use cases. For AI developers, you need to, if you're a developer, you need to actually validate input data integrity. You must protect model data. Sebab kalau kita sedang train the model, we don't protect the API, that's when the injection of that data ataupun manipulative data that can poison the model can happen. And finally, if you have the top management, policy makers and government executives, you must enforce secure AI adoption policies. You need to fund managed security for industrial service. So most of the things will not happen if the policymakers do not agree to it. They need to be the driving force and they need to recognize the importance of it. So to conclude, industrial systems are evolving. Like traditional, nothing connected, everything tries to be connected, but so do the threats as well. They are also evolving. And AI itself can be a security risk if left unchecked. So jangan just start AI compulsion. Doesn't work like that. And security needs structure, not just tools. It's not just about getting this tool or either the cybersecurity cover. It is about structure, all the framework that you do, you have to follow. Because it has a lot to do with the people, process, and the technology together. With that, I end my talk and I open the floor for questions. Nak tambah pun boleh, if you have real world examples that you want to actually chip into discussion that I have. Oh, yeah, please.
It's a very interesting presentation because, like you said, cybersecurity is maybe like an afterthought. That is something that only people start to scramble and try to find the root cause and everything. So would it be cheaper or not if you embed the security system when you develop the system earlier on? Definitely, right? Because from what you
cheaper for who?
Cheaper for the company or for the
vendor? The client lah. Yes, yes.
And then I take into consideration all of the factors, like somebody might attack me,
yes.
That is cheaper rather than you do something and then you ask the vendor to add this feature, add that feature, is going to be very expensive, right?
Yes and no. So it will be cheaper if you consider. So it will be cheaper considering how much you will actually end up paying later. But at the point of buying, the vendor, when he wants to add the security component, of course, he's going to hike up the price. But the thing is, clients should insist, even though you might pay, let's say, an offset of 20% more at this point, the damage that will happen later on if you don't do this is significantly. Macam any cybersecurity attack that we have, if let's say ransomware, they minta 2 juta, that product was not 2 juta earlier if you had actually invested. But then for you, it's an afterthought that you said, apa nantilah, siapa nak pakai saya kita beli. So like that. So on that basis, yes, it's going to be cheaper if you invest.
Okay. You already also have a company, right? So far, what are the top cybersecurity challenges that you face in your business?
From a business perspective, I think the most natural thing is actually convince that you need this product. I think about 90% of my clients, they are all victims. No one comes to us upfront. And when you come upfront, as I said, it doesn't look important to them until they get victims. Tapi again, we have Cybersecurity Act 2024 that was enacted. That is forcing companies to mandatorily get this kind of cybersecurity services. that is pushing some companies to actually look for this kind of service. But otherwise, SMEs are still reluctant to do it, which is also cost factor. If you're going to have someone monitoring 24/7, it's not going to be cheap. So we at USM are also innovating, coming up with some, let's call it lightweight solutions, which means that from tak ada langsung, this is definitely going to be a layer, but still within the range of what MNCs usually have this regulation. Kena ada juga. Because of they are working across different countries, they have it within their framework, budget, and so on. Semis tak pernah terfikir that area until now lah.
Because they also have limited budget.
Yes, yes, yeah. That's one thing, and also the other thing is that we, in terms of talent, I think the next speaker will actually speak about it. Cybersecurity professionals in Malaysia, buat masa ni, we are lacking about 25,000 as of now. Whether it's going to grow or going lesser, we don't know. But that's the area we're trying to actually bridge lah. Trying to generate more cybersecurity professionals. Sebab sekarang, if a company employs you for let's say 10,000, tomorrow another company will just give you 12,000 and then poach your people out because so scarce that kind of resources. So that's the other problem that a lot of people have, but we don't have. Like we are generating the cybersecurity students that end up becoming employees in our companies. So we pick them and then bring them into the company.
Those yang would like to consider being a cybersecurity with a company, what should they study? What should they focus on?
So nowadays we have a lot of cybersecurity courses. Even we are offering masters in cybersecurity 1-year course after working hours. Like cybersecurity boleh join. Our first batch is in October. But if you're not, you just want to do it part time, you're just out of interest. There's a lot of certification program or online programs that you can actually pick it up. But you need to be rajin lah. Technology changes very fast, and you need to be able to think, oh, macam ni, oh, benda ni boleh berlaku. So it's a mindset. You have to train it. You cannot just one day say, I want to become a cybersecurity guy. You have to train towards that. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. All right. Actually, it's interesting when you talk about next, because it happened like 17 June 2010, so like the 15th anniversary 2 days ago. Okay, now let's call upon our third presenter, Amir. From NCIA.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. Okay, we continue 3 straight. Ada nak pergi toilet dulu ke? Ataupun semua boleh bersih? Okay, while waiting for that, boleh quick daripada mana? 3 ni satu tim ni. Dari mana? Dari USM. Lecturer di developer. Okay, under which school? Oh, di belakang. Okay, so 3 daripada USM. So di belakang? Personal base. Okay, so in the areas of cybersecurity, AI dan sebagainya. Okay. Mechanical. All right. Thanks for joining. And then Tuan. Okay. Kenapa sendiri? Oh, okay.
Tapi hasil
Dulu dekat Intel, which department? Okay, test. Oh, okay, alright. Yeah.
Interested in AI adoption in Pinang. So, under TalentCorp, I am working closely with NCIA and also NCIA to accelerate the AI adoption in the northern. And that they had a lot of incentive for startup companies. So, kalau ada orang yang, thinking about starting a business in AI or related, so I can send out the invitation because we do this community meetup once a month. So we invite people to talk about what are the incentives, what are the challenges, how to make sure that the adoption in Pinang is accelerating and so on and so forth. And later we can take my business card. Okay, enough about the promotion, so let's talk about the talent.
Okay. Tuan? Personal juga. Student Poly boleh Pulau?
Ya,
I see. Okay. Alright. Ini Dr. Shankar daripada sini lah kan, USM, and then yang belakang daripada Datalytica, then TalentCorp, kami daripada NCIA. Alright. So okay, my name is Amir. Sama juga macam Dr. Shankar, I'm USM punya so saya daripada USM, graduated 2001. Matrix dekat sini 1997. Lepas tu duduk dekat mana? Gemilang. Gemilang Matrix Express setahun. Lepas tu masa tahun saya tu rezeki degree 3 tahun saja. Duduk dekat Aman tahun pertama, tahun kedua sporting dekat Pati. Biasa kan sporting. And then final year duduk dekat Kakak. Alright. Then actually I'm with the industries almost 20 years, particularly in E&E semicon industry. Being in radio fax machine, in TF, EMD, Celestica, Infineon, EIC semicon. So from the wafer fab until the what's it called, box build products, and then I joined Northern Corridor back in 2020, 5 tahun lepas. Okay, so actually today I would like to share some what's called info a bit about the talent programs, and then what's called industries, ecosystem development happening in the Northern region. So sedikit maklumat, mungkin ada yang pernah dengar, ada yang tak pernah dengar. We are actually Northern Corridor Implementation Authority. Kami adalah authority di bawah Kementerian Ekonomi yang kalau ikutkan kita tengok NCR itu menunjukkan region ke 4 negeri daripada Perak, Perlis, Pinang dan juga Kedah, yang kami looking for the socio-economic development in the Northern region. So under the Ministry of Economy we have 5 actually the economic region, ada yang East Coast, Eureka, Sarwar dan juga Sabah. Dulu dipanggil koridor utara. Okay. Then seperti yang saya maklum, kami cover all the 4 states. Kalau kita tengok dekat sini, one of the our focus area actually kita nak boost economic potential through catalytic projects and also high impact programs. Kita nak address uneven development and regional imbalances. Jadi kami ni NCIA ni kita looking kepada how kita nak spurkan economic development in the Northern region, especially kawasan-kawasan yang less developed area macam Perlis, Kedah dan certain area in Perak. Sedikit maklumat berkenaan dengan kami punya board of directors. Kami panggil council, which is checked by the Prime Minister and then Deputy Prime Minister, so Menteri Besar, Chief Minister, semua ni dalam kami punya council. At least 2 kali setahun kami akan bermesyuarat, discuss in terms of what happening in the Northern region, what are the programs required, what are the policy need to be changed whatsoever, what are the funding required in order for us to running any programs in the northern region. Dan kalau ikutkan kami punya ni di bawah Ministeri Ekonomi, sekarang ni tak ada bapak lah sekarang. Sementara tak tahu siapa bapak baru. Yeah. Okay, what we are looking actually in terms of the increase. Kalau kita tengok all the four yang top tu, kita nak increase quality investment in jobs, expand employment opportunity. Ini antara kami punya target outcome. And then our focus area, advanced services, high value manufacturing, also modern agriculture. The details out here. These are focus sectors. So like us, northern region, in the northern region, we are focusing on not only in terms of manufacturing as a core for northern region, economic industries, but we also focusing in terms of the advanced services, the tourism, logistics, and so on, and juga modern agriculture. Okay. Sedikit maklumat antara projek-projek happening in the northern region, seperti just for awareness and then also just sharing macam secara ringkas dia macam NCIA ni we all receive funding daripada government. Okay, actually we are like a think tank a bit. How kita nak majukan perlis, then untuk immediate list kita nak kena buka satu industrial park. Bila kita buka satu industrial park, new investors datang, so bila investors datang, automatically socio-economic development dekat particular areas tu akan membangun. Alright, macam what happening in Pulau High Tech, I think 20-25 years back, siapa pun tak mau datang Pulau High Tech. I still remember I datang Pulau High Tech 2004 kerja as an engineer. Masa tu pukul 9 malam dah gelap kan, semua orang tidur aman, tapi sekarang traffic jam Pulau High Tech kan. Alright, so that's what actually the development that we are looking at. For example, in Chuping, last time Chuping, as you know, is ladang tebu. Alright, right. Figure is what the project is we developing this Chuping Valley industrial area, which is focusing in terms of the halal industry, green manufacturing, renewable energy. I think some of you may heard from the news, Jabil Manufacturing is open up. There what's called companies inside there. That will be the first anchor company setting up dekat situ. Walaupun it's a greenfield, bila satu company datang, then automatically actually attracting more companies to come. But the challenges is on how we want to bring the first anchors datang. Alright. Kedah Sains Technology Park ini dekat nombor 2 tu yang dekat Eureka, sebelah dengan Boeing Composite Malaysia. Kedah Universiti dekat Padang Terap. Yang ni pun kita ada satu dah investor, Princeng Tire, one of the big tire manufacturer from China. Sidang Logistik Aerospace Manufacturing Hub, yang ini kita compose sementara. And then there are some other things. Why actually I highlighted this thing? Actually, I just want to show that actually a lot of opportunities. First, in terms of talent, we need a lot of talent definitely, focusing on the mid to high skill. And then second thing, opportunity for the local companies, SMEs and so on, to be part of the value chain, to be part of the supply chain of these companies, investors coming in. Dan kalau kita tengok dekat map tu, mungkin ada yang nampak yang color merah tu actually a new highway yang kita akan ada. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, new kita panggil Northern Corridor Highway. Lepas tu kita juga ada few projects happening. Ada project inland port, kita ada project tourism dan sebagainya. So not necessary projects on manufacturing semata-mata. So this is the what's it called, details, some of new industrial park. Jadi dengan adanya new industrial park ni tak adalah semua fokus dekat bayi lepas saja, semua fokus dekat Batu Kawan saja. So only Penang is enjoying. Tapi kita nak dia ada state juga enjoying with the investors. Sebab tu we are, as mentioned, we are really keen in terms of how to prepare our talent to fit into the demand from this new industrial park. and also preparing our local SMEs, how they can be fit into the supply chain of those future industries. Okay. All right, straight away to the program. Okay. Today I'm going to share whatever the any program available right now as of today di bawah RMK 12. Selalunya macam kami ni, kami dapat funding daripada rancangan Malaysia. Rancangan Malaysia ke-12, rancangan Malaysia ke-13 dan sebagainya. Untuk rancangan Malaysia ke-12, setakat ini kami masih ada lagi program ni. Sekali saya cerita in details. Yang pertama kita panggil NCIA Technology Innovation Center. Yang ni, yang pertama tu kita ada Advanced Energy Miser Program yang Dr. Imran mention tadi. Mana-mana ada company yang nak upskill dia punya staff, dia kena work together dengan maybe provider dan juga dengan universities. Macam this case, previously Datalytica work out dengan Universiti Pahang, UMP Pahang. So develop the modules together and then provide upskilling training to the staff dalam industri. Dan kami NCIA sponsor the course fee sehingga 6,000 seorang. Okay, for this case juga kita boleh buat benda yang sama juga. Let's say lah kata ada A companies dekat belah utara ni, let's say lah company manufacturing ke, company sebagainya, perlukan some sort of training related to AI dan juga cybersecurity. So mungkin USM akan work together dengan Datalytica, dengan company tu, develop the module bersama-sama, then train dia orang punya staff. So how much the cost is, itu kita akan cover sehingga 6,000 seorang. Yang ni grant. Kita tak minta bayar balik, bukan loan, it's grant. Kalau kata 6,000 seorang, kita bagi full 6,000. Tapi kalau kata cost tu katalah, kira-kira 10,000 seorang. So kami tu boleh option juga, sama ada nak ambil dengan kami 6,000, lagi 4,000 tu boleh ambil dengan HRD kalau dia levy. Alright. Kalau cost dia bawah 6,000, so kita cover full. Yang kedua kita panggil Center of Excellence, matching up to 100,000. Yang ni saya boleh cerita sekejap lagi, more details. Yang ni mungkin boleh relate balik dengan apa yang Dr. Shankar mention tadi. SMEs yang nak adopt digitalization, nak adopt automation, nak adopt new technologies, they can take up our grant sehingga 100,000 untuk satu projek. Okay. Dan di bawah belah kiri, saya rasa yang ini normally untuk company company yang nak hire fresh graduate, kita sponsor dia punya gaji 1,000 sebulan selama 12 bulan, 12,000. So for USM, kalau kata you engage any any companies yang hiring your students, let them know about this program so that whatever that any student yang been hired by the company, kita boleh sponsor dia orang punya gaji 1,000 sebulan selama 12 bulan. 12,000. Sebab this program belah kiri NTEC ni actually kita nak galakkan company hire fresh grad. Because we got to know, because we are bringing investors into the region. Tapi normally when investors coming, investors are always asking for experience. Whoever it is declared, oh, new investors coming, investment value certain billion, they will create 1,000 job creation. Tapi kita punya fresh grad crying, kata ada job, tapi bila kita nak minta asyik tak dapat ni. They are asking for experience lah dan sebagainya. Dan this company datang, dia akan pinch. Macam last time, ATNS bila datang, dia orang buat substrate, dia akan pinch dividend, dia akan pinch daripada Infineon, pinch daripada sana, potong tarik. So dah business turun, okay, they off pula. So without this program, actually a lot of people just focusing on experience, tak ada bagi peluang kepada fresh grads. So bila ada program macam ni, kita akan galakkan company hire fresh grad. Consider to hire fresh grad, government bayar gaji dia orang 1,000 sebulan selama 12 bulan, 12,000 seorang. So that's actually helping a lot of companies considering hire fresh grads. DU is a company dana usahawan yang ini kepada company-company Bumi Putra di belah utara. Kita bagi grant sehingga 15% atau 2 juta. Kalau kata company lokal, Bumiputra yang nak expand, nak beli mesin dan sebagainya, kita cover 15%. Katakanlah company Bumiputra tapi kena semen berhad, lepas tu dia nak beli mesin. Then the machine cost, let's say lah 1 juta. So kami bagi grant 15%, 150,000 kita bagi. Okay. Alright, saya go details. Okay, so jadi yang saya mention tadi, NCIA program yang pasal upskilling tadi. Upskilling ni 6,000 seorang untuk course fee dan termasuk juga allowance. Kalau kata company tu nak bagi allowance kepada diorang untuk diorang attend the training, kita pun diorang pun boleh claim dengan kita. Okay, so back to Datalytica ke USM ke Sains, any companies yang looking for upskilling, kita boleh sit down and discuss whether they can fit under this program atau tidak. This program must be technical, cannot be soft skill, at least 64 jam per courses. 64 jam, dan 64 jam tu tak semestinya in class, it can be assignment, it can be online, it can be practical, as long within at least 64 jam, then kita akan cover the things. Tapi dengan syarat, the company kena work dengan satu universities, technical institution ke universiti dan sebagainya, to be part of program. Okay, dan that antique building, NCIA Technology Innovation Building, yang ni dekat bypass, kita dah siap building ni, dan actually kita invite any company can provide engineering solution. Kita nampak macam technology shopping mall. So far kita dah ada company in term of test development, chip testing development. Kita ada embedded system company inside there. Kita ada company AI akan set up dalam tu. Then few system integrators company akan set up dalam tu. So any future companies looking for solution, they can come to this building and then getting for the solutions. Okay. And then yang bawah ni, Center of Excellence User, ini adalah program di mana kita buka kepada any local SMEs di Utara yang nak adopt digitalization, nak buat product process improvement, nak do automation, but they need to engage with our appointed Center of Excellence provider. Dan untuk projek tu, kita boleh do the matching grant 50-50 up to 100,000. Sebagai contoh, let's say lah kata tadi, I just got example. Katalah kami Dr. Shankar tadi. Okay. I'm not sure how you, because you are startup spin-off. One of the startup spin-off yang pernah register dengan kami adalah Datalytica. Right? I think you know Dr. Batia dengan Dr. Fidaus whatsoever. So what we did is that when we appoint Datalytica startup spin-off companies from USM, so any local companies yang nak get dia punya services, how much the cost is, we sponsor half, 50%. Katakanlah project for the automation things whatsoever cost them around 100,000. So we sponsor 50,000 and then the company come up with another 50,000. Alright. Then if let's say any companies that are looking for cybersecurity, for example, maybe potentially the Shankar companies can be part of the provider. So any solutions required by the SMEs boleh ambil this program. Cuma this program actually we will be end by end of this year, but we are trying to asking for more funding for next year RMK13. Right. So far, what we have done, I think this one later we can spread around. Boleh bagi kepada semua untuk you guys tengok. For the past 2 years, actually kita dah approve 1,045 participant, 38 modules dah yang kita develop bersama-sama dengan industri, dan 589 participant receive salary increment. Because for us, kami punya monitoring outcome of the, bila kita bagi fund, kita nak company tu return back feedback kepada staff tu lah. gaji naik ke dan sebagainya. Center of Excellence, macam saya mention tadi, any companies yang nak looking for validation, failure analysis, nak go for standard certification, nak go for solution, nak go for MCAT solution, ECAT, PCB design, boleh approach kami dan kami akan introducekan the local company dengan any of those company. How much the cost is, kita sponsor maximum 100,000. Okay, these are some of the companies yang boleh bantu local SMEs yang kita akan fund. Okay, setakat ni for the past 2 years kita dah bantu 54 local company dan 29 SME dah kita digitalization, then actually we will ask for more. Kita nak go for more local, nak bantu lebih banyak local SMEs. Okay, yang ni NTAP macam saya mention earlier adalah company yang nak hire fresh grad, kita sponsor gaji 50% of their salary maximum of 1,000 untuk selama 12 bulan. So mana-mana company yang hire fresh graduate dia layak untuk apply this funding, so kita akan bagi 12,000 untuk satu graduates yang dia orang hire. Dan last kali, dana usahawan, ini saya mention, ini adalah untuk company-company SME Bumiputera di Northern Region yang nak buat pembangunan fizikal, misalnya dia nak buat building baru, dia nak beli mesin ataupun nak beli kelengkapan, even kalau kata company shipping nak beli apa, lori ke nak beli pun boleh masuk dalam this funding. So we covered 15%, maximum 2 juta grant untuk Bumiputera company. Means Bumiputera company here means 51% ownership is Bumiputera at least. Ini pun akan habis tahun ni, then will not be continued for next year. Alright, okay. Saya rasa apa nama tu? Saya tak nak go terlalu detail sangat, but this slide nanti saya nak minta organizer nanti boleh share. Kalau ada apa-apa perlukan maklumat tambahan, boleh contact saya dan kita boleh arrange separate discussion untuk. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan? Okay, jika tiada, terima kasih atas slot yang diberikan. Ya.
Invest in today, sekarang ni, regardless of industry, what will the best be?
Okay. If asking about what the skills, I think everybody is aware that now we are focusing in terms of the high value industries. Apa nama tu? Whatever any skills related to, because when come to high value industries, they will not be like the normal operation last time. So semua berkaitan dengan design dan sebagainya. So if you're asking me, these are the future skills ataupun talent required, regardless what kind of designs, chip design, program design, system design, everything related to the designs dan sebagainya. Apa nama tu? Maybe you all aware in terms of the development dekat Silicon Island. Silicon Island in apa nama tu, dekat pelaksanaan airport tu kan. So that one actually is really planned for high value industries. Kita plan untuk bring those what so-called companies like so-called company Google type or whatever, which is doesn't involve a lot in terms of the manufacturing. Sebab kita sekarang ni nak move daripada manufacturing punya industries kepada design industries. Sebab tu a lot of focus right now in terms of that particular areas. So back to the question, I think that will be the ultimate ataupun the future skills required, especially in the next 5 to 10 years down the road. Yeah. All right. Anything? Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. Selalunya KPI itu kita base kepada apa committed. Sebagai contoh, katakanlah untuk fresh graduates tadi, hiring fresh graduate. Kita selalunya bila kata any application, kita akan tanya berapa orang dia nak hire, lepas tu adakah ada investment terlibat. Selalunya bila kata dia nak hire new fresh grads, this kali dia akan declare lah, actually I have a new production line, for example. So kita nak tahu berapa roughly investment. Let's say lah untuk hire 10 orang ni, actually we plan to hire to invest around 1 million ataupun 20 million sebagai contoh for the new production line. So dia akan beritahu all this thing. Then untuk hiring juga kita akan minta dia make sure provide training kepada setiap fresh grad ni. Jangan hire, you lepaskan sebagainya. So kita akan monitor. Dan daripada situ kita akan tengok okay, keberhasilan program itulah. Sampai betul-betul dia dah hire, kata dia commit nak hire 50 orang. Dah hire fresh grad, dah bagi duit semua, dan kita habislah agreement kita dengan Hafiz. Baik. Dan macam kami tak ada lah. Kalau kata dia nak hire 20 orang fresh graduates, dia tak boleh hire 20, dia dapat hire 10 saja. Kita tak ada penalty ke dan sebagainya. So okay, kita terima saja. Even macam grant training ke, grant development ke. So kalau kata go for the training, let's say nak hantar 10 orang pergi training, tapi kami tu dia boleh bayar, dia hantar 5 orang saja. Ada yang kita hanya bayar 5 orang saja lah untuk grant. Baik, terima kasih tuan. Terima kasih pada semua. InsyaAllah kalau ada apa-apa nanti kita boleh in contact. Baik, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Today, how did everybody feel about the forum today? Interesting? Boring? Too short? Too long? Tak dengar? Or what? So is it relevant to what I mean? Is it like everybody when they come to a forum or anything, they have some expectation, right? Does it meet your expectation? Okay, good. I saw some head moving. Okay, so as a moderator, I would like to thank everybody, especially the two speakers, the panelists, and also for those who joined us today. From the first until the last, I can say that in this day and age, data and I are shaping our life right now and also in the future. You like it or you don't like it, AI is here now. It's no longer future. I think I first know about AI like 20-something years ago when I watched a movie called AI. You know, it's like I cannot imagine, robot will be taking our jobs, stuff like that. right now it's happening. So we have to make sure that we are agile and we must make sure that we equip ourselves with the right skills so that we will not be left behind. And I'm sure you all heard that, oh, AI will take these people's job. AI will take these people's job. So we know that AI is something that human create, right? If we don't program, AI also cannot do anything. So there is still some human intervention. So don't panic. You as we know tadi the Shankar pun mentioned there are a lot of programs that you can attend online or physical. Some are free. So kalau ada masa, you can go and attend these courses so that when the time comes, you are already equipping yourself with the right skills. Okay, so we also have to remember that cybersecurity is very important, like Dr. Shankar mentioned also. So we build something and then it's attacked. So kalau kita tak equip our program or our system dengan protection, habis kita punya email, kita punya phone can be attacked, right? Sebab ada orang hantar malware. So next time kalau pergi mana-mana convention or forum, ada orang bagi USB encoder, jangan repeat tunjuk dekat you punya laptop. Okay. Alright, and last but not least, talent development is very important, especially for academia like USM and other institutes of higher learning, and also other kind of education as early as kindergarten, primary school, and also secondary school. So right now, TalentCorp as a federal government agency, we are working closely with other ministries to make sure that our curriculum is at par with other countries so that we also will not be left behind. Okay. So with that, I would like to end our forum and thank you everybody for joining. For your information, later at 2:30 we have another forum, but it's in Georgetown. If you guys are interested to join. The topic is something revolving around AI. It's AI monetization and the success story. Okay. Hi, thank you. Boleh gambar dengan doktor. Tinggal lah dah berdiri. Juga. Tak.